Welcome back. This is shop vlog number 32, and this is what we're going to be talking about. Now let's get started. If you ever want to tick off about 1,000 people, make a video that shows painted furniture. Doesn't matter what type of furniture it is. It could be some built-in cabinets like we painted last year. It could be an outdoor bench, such as we recently made for a woodworking course. Some people believe that putting a coat of paint on the lowliest 2x4 is akin to covering the Mona Lisa in high-gloss latex. Have you ever wondered why people get so worked up when you paint wood? Don't get me wrong, I'm not advocating painting everything. I love the beauty of natural wood as much as any woodworker, but beauty is in the eye of the beholder. If the missus thinks painted cabinets are beautiful, she's going to get painted cabinets because the cabinets are made for her, not for me, not for folks on YouTube. The opinion of the end user is what matters. Furniture also isn't just built to be stared at. It has to serve a function. An outdoor bench's function is to endure rain, sleet, and snow, so it may be sat upon. What good is that natural wood grainy beauty if it only lasts a few years? Nor do I find it sacrilegious to put paint on wood. To tell you the truth, not all wood is beautiful, at least not equally so. I admit that I quite like the figure and color of natural cherry, so we didn't paint this chest of drawers we just finished, nor did we paint this hickory bathroom furniture. But others may have painted them, and that would have been fine with me because it's not really any of my business. In fact, some of the finest woodworkers in recorded history painted their furniture. The Shakers painted a lot of furniture, even things they built from beautiful cherry wood. The Shakers certainly weren't a bunch of hacks. They definitely had an eye for good design, and their style has endured for centuries. But they also didn't worship every grain line in every board. Likewise, the finest Windsor chairmakers in the craft regularly painted their work. In fact, there are countless examples of finely crafted painted furniture that have survived, and many historical texts that make it abundantly clear that the modern aversion to paint is just that, modern. We like to think that our tastes are at the pinnacle of the craft. Sometimes this borders on arrogance. One day, I think I'm going to build a beautiful Bombay chest, perfect in every detail. And I'm going to assemble the drawers with pocket screws so I can watch people freak out, not because they don't believe that pocket screws won't hold, but because real woodworkers use dovetails or nothing else. Don't let the frou-frous tell you what constitutes real woodworking. If you want to paint something you built, paint it. And if you want to apply a delicate French polish and let the natural wood shine, do that. All that matters is it serves its intended purpose and pleases the end user. I think a love for history is common to many of us who practice traditional crafts like woodworking. I've always been interested in history. In fact, I often listen to historical fiction and nonfiction while I work alone in the shop. Lately, I've been listening to an audiobook called Desperate Passage. It's about the Donner Party that migrated west in 1846. You probably know the story. They were searching for a new start in California, but they ended up caught in the Sierra Nevada mountains during what turned out to be one of the worst winters on record. Nearly half of the 87 members of the party died, and many of those that survived had to do so by means of cannibalism. I don't know what it is about this particular story that so fascinates me. Maybe it's so anti-vegan, or maybe it's how this particular piece of history is really humanized through the accounts of the despair that they went through. While there are survivors, there's really no happy ending. And that's very different from many stories we read that artificially focus on the positive. They want to get that happy ending, but they do it at the expense of helping us to relate to what the people really went through. And this audiobook really puts you with them in the snow at Truckee Lake. Even if you've heard the story before, there are many little bits that maybe you don't know about that are really interesting, such as how it was a series of events and even some bad luck that proved to be their doom. It wasn't just a bad decision to take a shortcut, as we are taught in school, or how one of the leaders of the party was actually expelled from the group for murdering another member well before they were trapped in the mountains. So they sent him off in the middle of the mountains, and they thought that was akin to a death sentence, but it may have prevented him from becoming a meal later that winter. He survived, and he became a chief of police, of all things. There are a lot of other little interesting tidbits. I don't want to spoil them for you in case you want to listen to the audiobook yourself. You can get it or another of Audible's thousands of titles for free if you visit audible.com/StumpyNubs, or from your phone, you could text Stumpy Nubs to 500-500. That'll get you a free 30-day trial and access to their massive library. You can learn about the Donner Party or whatever it is you're into. I've been a paying member of Audible for years, long before they became a supporter of this channel. I love listening to audiobooks while I work. I do it when I travel, definitely, especially on long trips. I do it when I walk the dogs, even when I ride my bike. I even listen to podcasts in their Plus catalog, which includes unlimited listening of thousands of titles. Again, that free trial is at audible.com/StumpyNubs, or text StumpyNubs to 500-500. Did you notice I changed our thumbnail design? We've been using basically the same video thumbnail image for the better part of a decade, but things have changed, and I don't know, I thought maybe you'd find this little bit of sausage making interesting. In the old days, YouTube chose the thumbnail image for your video randomly. It was just a frame from the video itself. Somewhere along the line, they started letting video creators choose which frame to use, or even upload a custom image. But in the early days, not many people did that because the title of the video was what they concentrated on. That was believed to be the most important factor in getting someone to click and watch. Then, a few years ago, YouTube insiders started to realize how important thumbnail images were for branding. You wanted your loyal viewers to easily pick out your videos from the list of suggestions on the screen, so folks started making thumbnail image templates with big logos and consistently recognizable colors and layouts. Meanwhile, millions and millions of videos were being uploaded to YouTube every day, and creators had to fight harder to get noticed, even by their own subscribers. So you had to have more compelling titles and images that would catch someone's attention as they scanned through that list that YouTube provided in their feed or their search results. So the branding on these thumbnail images became smaller, and the pictures on them became larger to try to generate interest. As time went on, those images became far more important than the video titles themselves even. People tended to look at the pictures first. If you can catch their eye with your picture, then they'll read the title and decide whether to click or not. So to that end, many of our thumbnail images featured close-ups of something in the video, so the subject of the video would be readily apparent at a glance, but also people might wonder, what is that? So we kept it really close and cropped. We also kept our branding with a consistent template that was even color-coded based on the type of video, such as yellow for quick tips, red for project videos, and so on, even though over all the years we used that color-coding system, virtually no one even noticed it. But things are always evolving online. It's amazing how fast things change, especially viewing habits, because we're just flooded with so much information. So many people nowadays no longer take the time to read titles. They choose which video to watch based solely on the thumbnail image. So it has to catch their attention and give them a reason to click at a glance. It's becoming all about bright colors, bold text, and compelling, well-defined images. The best way to get clicks nowadays is to put up a picture of your face looking absolutely shocked at something. People will see that and they think, I gotta see what's so shocking in this video. Since there is rarely anything shocking in those videos, that open-mouth, bug-eyed shtick is likely to wear off eventually. But the bright colors and bold letters are king right now. And while I definitely prefer our old thumbnail templates, I have to face the reality of the situation if I hope to continue to reach out to viewers who really need to learn the fundamentals of the craft rather than just being entertained. If you're still here, I assume you aren't one of the folks who rushed to the comments during that audiobook segment to tell me how dangerous it is to listen to anything while working with power tools. I usually get a few of those comments whenever I mention anything about music or audiobooks or anytime I show IsoTunes earbuds. And I always say the same thing. If you find it distracting, don't do it. It's that simple. But don't assume it's distracting for everyone and demand that I just ban it from the channel. In fact, we dove a little deeper into this subject back in 2018 in an old video. Here's what I learned. So I did some digging for some more official studies, and as it turns out, there are a lot of them that show music is widely listened in all sorts of working environments. One study in the UK showed that 73% of warehouse workers found they were more productive when listening to music. A US study found that IT specialists who listened to music completed tasks more quickly and came up with better ideas than those who don't. Another study showed 9 out of 10 people performed their work faster and more accurately when listening to music, including tasks that required concentration, like data entry and proofreading. These are just a few of the many, many studies out there on the subject. But data entry, proofreading, IT, these aren't exactly serious jobs with serious consequences, like working on a table saw. And it's true. I didn't find any hard data on how many injuries in small woodworking shops are due to listening to music. In my defense, I didn't look very hard, so it may be out there. But I did find lots of studies involving something pretty serious: surgery. It turns out that more than 70% of surgeons, the guys with your life in their hands who can literally kill you with the slip of a finger, more than 70% of them listen to music while they operate. And not just soothing classical music. A poll of doctors showed their preferences run the full gambit, from classic rock to country, even that obnoxious stuff millennials listen to. I just thought it was worth bringing that up again because safety is important to me, but I've never felt distracted while listening to an audiobook or music or podcast or any of that sort of thing in the shop. But if you find it distracting, that's fine. You can learn about the Donner Party or whatever you're into while you're in your car or walking your dog or riding your bike or whatever it is you do. Don't forget to check out that free offer. We'll see you next time. Wait, don't go yet. If you're new here, please subscribe and remember to ring the bell. I would really appreciate that. Give us a thumbs up, or better yet, leave us a comment. I always read them. And be sure to check out the latest issue of Stumpy Nubs Woodworking Journal. It's always packed with tips, tricks, and tutorials designed to make you a better woodworker.